In this project, we're going to be making a lighthouse, and you'll have a few options of how you can design it and what time of the day it is. You will need a blank piece of paper that is horizontal or landscape, a pencil, and a ruler. The first thing we're going to do is draw two guidelines using the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a compositional technique. It says that if you divide your paper 3 by 3 into even rectangles, that these dividing lines are ideal places to put objects. So you can see her face is lined up with one of the intersections, her body is lined up with an entire line, and these flowers are at an intersection too. The rule of thirds helps us make balance by not placing things directly in the middle, but offsets them slightly. So about a third over on your page, you're going to draw a very, very light line from the top to the bottom. It's light because we are going to erase it later. About a third from the bottom of your page, you're going to do a horizontal line. Once again, very, very lightly because you might erase it. It doesn't have to be exactly a third of the page. It just has to be not in the middle. For my perfectionists, it's about 3 1/2 away from the left side and about 2 3/4 from the bottom when it comes to inches. For my friends that would like to just kind of estimate, you can always put your ruler in the middle and then slide it over just a little bit. So on this vertical line at the top, we're going to draw a small triangle. This is going to be the top of our lighthouse. Make sure the bottom of the triangle is wide so that way we can put the box underneath of it for the light. At the bottom of our triangle, we're going to attach a rectangle. It should not go quite to the edge of the triangle, but fit right underneath. Now the horizontal line is our horizon line. The sky and the earth are above and beneath it. So underneath the horizon line, or the horizontal line, we're going to draw the base of the lighthouse. What you're going to do is about 1 inch underneath of it, you're going to draw a curved line that centers on the vertical line. It should not touch the horizon line, and it should be wider than your box on top. Then you need a ruler, and you need to connect the bottom corner of the box to the edge of the line, therefore creating a diagonal slope from the light to the bottom or the base of the lighthouse. It is a rounded bottom because in real life our lighthouse would have some roundness to it, almost like a cone that has its top cut off with a light on top. If your lighthouse doesn't look exactly like mine, that is okay. If it's a little wider or skinnier, also okay. Lighthouses come in different shapes and sizes. It just needs to be sitting below the horizon line. So take a moment to erase any lines inside of your lighthouse because your lighthouse is not see-through. I also erased the rest of my vertical line, but do not erase the horizontal line. That is now your permanent horizon where the sky meets the earth. The next thing we're going to do is put your lighthouse on a piece of land. So from the edge of the paper underneath your horizon line, you're going to draw a line that goes from the edge to the side of your lighthouse. Make sure it hits somewhere on the side and not the bottom of your lighthouse. On the other side of your lighthouse, the land needs to come out at the same height. And then it can drop down to the bottom of the paper. See how it looks like your lighthouse is sitting now on this piece of land? The rest of the space underneath your horizon line is eventually going to be ocean. The next thing we're going to do is draw light rays coming out from your lighthouse. The angle for these are important, and we're going to do them from the corners of the rectangle. They will not go below the horizon line. So watch. You're going to use a ruler, and the top two are going to start at the top of the box and then go upwards. Start from the top of the box on the left side and go upwards. It doesn't matter if they go to the top of the page or the side of the page, they just need to go higher than the box. The bottom two lines should go downwards, but point them so they do not cross the horizon line. So you need to point them at the side of the paper from the bottom of the box. So see, I had to move my ruler up a little bit so that way it wouldn't cross my horizon line. If you want to draw stripes on your lighthouse, that is optional. But if you draw stripes or really anything on your lighthouse, remember that it is rounded. The way I'm going to draw stripes is I'm going to start from the bottom right corner of my rectangle and make a curved line that goes to the left side. I'm going to make parallel lines that curve the same way all the way down my lighthouse. If you want to do lines that go across your lighthouse, just curve them so that they're parallel to the base of your lighthouse and that curve. Once again, that is optional. Now what I'm going to do is take a Sharpie and outline all of my lines, including my horizon line. It should look like this, so pause now if you need to outline your lines. The next thing we're going to do is color. You can use anything you would like to color, but I'm going to use crayon. If you need to use markers, you can do that, or you can also use color pencils. I am going to show you a little shading at the end, which you will probably need a pencil for. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color my lighthouse. I'm going to do mine in crayon, which means I'll probably have the shade in crayon later, but I'm going to color the top of my lighthouse and every other stripe. If you didn't do stripes, you can just color in your lighthouse any way you'd like to. As you're coloring, I want you to think about using good craftsmanship, which means you're being neat and intentional with your marks. You're taking your time and making sure that you fill in spaces so that they look organized and purposeful. Remember, you can pause at any time if you need a little more time, and yours doesn't have to look exactly like mine. After you're done with coloring in your lighthouse, we're going to design your island. Now, this island or this peninsula or this cliff does not have to look like mine. I'm going to show you all the options. You can do some of them, you can do all of them. It's up to you. But I'm going to show you grass, I'm going to show you how you could make it a beach, I could show you how you're going to add some rocks to it. I'm also going to show you how you can make a cliff. Once again, you can choose how you would like to do yours. I'm just going to put all the examples on my island. So the first one I'm going to do is a cliff. So with brown on the the right side of my island, I'm going to do kind of these curved lines like the sides of the cliff. Make a jagged line to where like the edge of the cliff meets the drop off, and then I'm going to color it in as well. You could add things to the side of your cliff if you wanted to, like trees or rocks, that's up to you. The next part I'm going to draw is a beach. I'm going to put things onto my beach, like shells or starfish, and then I'm going to color it kind of a tan or yellow color to make it look like sand. The next thing I'm going to do are some rocks or boulders. You could do a whole rock wall if you wanted to. The whole thing could be rocks, but for rocks I'm going to do black outlines and then I'm going to do gray on the inside. Remember, your lighthouse is really big, so if you put something next to it, like a tree or something, it's not going to be as tall as the lighthouse. That boulder would be actually pretty big as well. And of course, another option would be grass. I would color in the island or the peninsula with a light green and then maybe do texture with a darker green or just by pushing harder. You can also add flowers, but once again, they should be really little, almost like dots. The last thing we're going to do on our lighthouse this week are our light rays. If you don't have time this week, that's fine. You can do it next week. I'm going to show you two different ways that I'm going to do it, but you can use your choice of lines as well. So with an orange, you're going to draw lines within your light rays. So one of mine, I am dividing the space with a zigzag line and then dividing it further so it kind of looks like a stained glass. My other one, I am using spiral lines just so it kind of looks like the light is pouring out through the light rays. So take a minute to figure out what kind of lines you'd like to do and fill your light rays with those lines. The next thing I'm going to do is make the inside of my light rays yellow. You can use a coloring material to shade it in. You can vary your values as well, making things light and dark. As you paint, make sure that you're using water so that way you can still see your lines underneath. If you use washable markers, they might bleed a little bit, which might be a cool effect. If you don't want your lines to bleed, you probably need to go back before you paint and use Sharpie or crayon. Make sure to take your time and that your light stays within your light rays. As well, you can color or paint in the box of your lighthouse, showing where the light comes from. This is the end of week 1. If you're ready for week 2, you can go to the next video, where we're going to be finishing the sky as well as the ocean.